You might not want to admit it, but if you were being honest with yourself, the thought has crossed your mind at least once before. What if I stay stuck here forever? What if my revenue never increases? What will I do? And listen, if that is you, I get it. Because after being in the online business space for over half a decade, I know firsthand how frustrating it can be to try everything you can think of, get your hopes up after seeing the slightest glimmer of progress, just for it all to come crashing down on you like a pile of bricks. Which is why in this video, I'm not just going to give you another AI UGC guide or an SAO list to Juke Andromeda and all the algorithms, because those things come and go. But what I'm about to show you today is destined to stay relevant for the next 5 decades. The art of value manipulation. Now, have you ever wondered why it's possible for two products which look practically the same, have the same function, and are made out of the same materials to sell at two completely different prices? Well, it's because of the associated value. Now, let me show you what I mean with a very visual example. Imagine you were coming home from work, or maybe from a business trip, whatever it may be. You were out in the open when all of a sudden you feel your lips are dry. You haven't drunk in any water or any liquid for that matter quite a long time, so you're kind of thirsty. So the first thing you do on your way home is you walk into a convenience store. You walk in, grab a bottle of water, and before you can go to the cashier, you turn around and put it back down because you realize that the water you were just about to buy costs $50. Now, you may be thirsty, but there's no way you're going to pay $50 for a simple bottle of water, right? Right. Now, for a moment, imagine that you were stuck in a desert. You haven't drunken anything for days. You've been walking, searching for any civilization in the area you can find. And as you're walking in the distance, from the corner of your eye, you see a village. Your vision is kind of blurry because the sun is shining. You haven't drunken anything for days. But then your hopes are lit. You see a village. You're thinking to yourself, okay, great. I thought I was going to die. The village is literally there. I'm going to go there. I'm going to inform all the people. You know, somebody's going to find out that I'm here. They're going to send a helicopter, whatever. But then, before you can get to the village, you fall down and you collapse to the ground. The water, or because you haven't drunken anything in so many days, it's gotten to you. The village is literally there. It's like 50 meters away from you. But if you don't come any closer, nobody's going to see you and you're going to die. Now, the only thing you have in your pocket is $100 bill. And out of nowhere, a genie appears. And he says, if you give me that $100 bill, I will give you a bottle of water. It's not going to be enough to completely heal you, but it will be enough water so you can get to the village and you'll be safe. Would you pay him that $100? Like, yes, like hell, like the hell you would. You would even ask him, is there anything else I need to give you for that bottle of water? Right, so you see how the value increased once the problem grew. In other words, the bigger of a problem you solve, the more valuable your product is. But that's not the only metric. If you want to know for sure how valuable your product is, watch this next section. And that is where something I like to call the value ranking comes in. Now, what this essentially is is a ranking you can do for your offer to see how valuable your product has on a scale from 1 to 10. Here's how it works. So there are 3 segments. Firstly, outcome. In other words, how big of a problem is this product actually solving? From a 1 to 10, how big of a problem is it actually solving? In other words, how big will the difference be once it's solved? The number 2, fast. How fast is this outcome going to be noticed on a scale from 1 to 10, right? Think about it. If I were to say I have a new workout method, which is going to give you a 6-pack, but it would take, I don't know, 6 years, you probably think to yourself, well, that's not really great. But if I were to say, here, I'll help you get a 6-pack with this new workout method within the next 20 days, you'd be like, oh, damn, yeah, that sounds really amazing. And then, thirdly, you also have ease. Ease on a scale from 1 to 10. How easy is it to actually achieve this outcome? In other words, if I was to say, I have a new workout method, which is going to get you a 6-pack within the next 20 days, but you have to do cardio 10 hours every day, you'd be like, well, shit, I'm not doing that. That's not really valuable. So what you want to do is you want to take each one of these categories, ease, fast, and outcome, and you want to rank them on a scale from 1 to 10, right? And then once you have your score, you're going to add them all up together, and then you want to subtract them, or no, excuse me, divide them by 3. And then you get your actual ranking, value ranking. In other words, how valuable your product is. But here's the thing. All of these things, the outcome, how fast they believe it's going to happen, how easy they perceive it to be, is all kind of in their head. It's just the belief they have. In other words, how big of an outcome do they believe is this going to have? How fast do they believe this could happen? And how easy do they believe it is going to be? And the reason I'm telling you this is because with concise messaging, you can alter what people believe. Meaning, you can take your score and take it from a 3 to a 7, or from a 7 to a 10, or from a 5 to a 9. Now let me ask you something. How much do you think would that influence your business? Well, if you're anything like me, it would influence it a ton, which is exactly why I've made this video over here, which is a full masterclass on selling, marketing, and copywriting. You can go ahead, click there, see you there.